Good morning to all of you. Well, first I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Harry Dowell, whom I knew for quite some time. Maybe it's because of my previous acquaintance he chose that I should be here with you. Apart from the fact that probably about 25 years I practiced, mainly I was powered by power sector, because that was my bread and butter and cream of it. So I thought when Mr. Dowell invited me, I readily accepted. And I also like to congratulate one other person here. In fact, I did it in private. Now I would like to publicly acknowledge and say what Mr. Ajay Jain has done, a wonderful job. Because I have been following up what he has been doing for the last few years. And I'm glad that he continues to be in place. Because that is the one which brings in the consistency of policy making. After all, in the end, policy is announced by the government, by the minister, in the name of minister, but made by the brain behind. And Mr. Jain has all along been there, and he has very positive approach he had all through. But I did inform him in private. I thought this is something matter which you all should know. Even few of you who might have had some element of doubt, I think it should be removed. And he deserves a big hand. Louder. Now, having said that, I wouldn't like to touch any of the issues with respect to the what has been said with respect to the legal issues for obvious reasons. But at the same time, I have some thoughts. It's like I understand in 1998 in China, each year they were adding up 15,000 megawatts of power generation. And India at that particular point of time, something like 2,500. Just imagine the magnitude. And as on today, now we are very proud that we are surplus. And for next 3 years, it's going to be surplus. In fact, the worry which the producers have is who is going to consume our power and who is going to pay for it. A power generation to be set up, it takes an average, a minimum period of 2 to 3 years. Like when in 1983, the then government of Andhra Pradesh, outgoing government at that point of time, just made an announcement and left. And thereafter, to bring in that what has been left by the other government, the new government was forced to announce something like free power for all or 50 rupees per megawatt for horsepower. Thank you. And that, believe me, the result of that policy, whether good or bad, I am not here to comment. But the result was between 1983 to 1993, every year a conservative estimate of loss to that time APSEB was around 600 crores. And at that particular point of time, the capacity installation for which 1 megawatt cost probably was about 3 crores or 2 crores. In other words, every year they had an opportunity of adding 300 megawatts in the APSEB, which they lost. And for 10 years, from 1983 to 1993, if I'm not wrong, not a single megawatt of power generation was added. It's only after again 1993 or 1994, again they restarted. And then there was the invitation to the renewable energy, thereafter to the extent of biomass and bagasse plants. And successively, successive governments had really killed those sectors. In last 10 years or 15 years, not a single megawatt, barring one or two people, probably sugar plants, because they didn't have any option. They added 1 megawatt here, 2 megawatts here. The last 10 years or 15 years, at least to my remembrance, right from 2000, not a single megawatt has been added in either in Bagasi system. I was seeing the figures. 18.9 megawatts in small hydro. The biomass was 222 megawatts. Bagasse was 199 megawatts. And now the big hype is being created with respect to I'm being a contrarian. The hype is being created with regard to the solar. It's nice that the solar energy is being harnessed. But when it comes to Bagasi and biomass plants, there is another sector which is dependent on that. In fact, it's not the direct. Without any being mincing words, because this is an open secret which I had all through as a lawyer I advocated at that particular point of time. The constructed view which was taken by the then administration of giving few paise more to the Bagasi or biomass. With the result, what has happened is it is interlinked. Actually, people fail to appreciate a Bagasi plant or a biomass plant is again connected with earth, is connected with the agricultural produce, it connected with the farmer. Like a Bagasi plant is connected with the sugar plants. Sugar plants is again connected with the entire of the sugar industry runs on the farmers. The good which you proclaim that you are doing to the farmer in the name of various incentives, etc., etc., in the end, which is either it is coming through you, it doesn't need to come through you only. In the end, ultimately, what is important is the citizen should be benefited. In that process, it's very sad affair. The cases which are filed in 2000 are still pending in Supreme Court. And all for what? The policymaker doesn't want to take a decision. And there was an ego trip that I succeeded in the court, you succeeded in the court. And the entire thing probably in today's money may not work out to more than 50, 60 crores or 100 crores. Like today, if somebody is talking about Bofors scam, does that figure shock you? Does that figure scare you? Bofors, 50, 60 crores. When we are talking about scams of lakhs of rupees and lakhs of crores of rupees in every state, without there being any exception. I'm sure that aspect, as I said, a chunk of litigation can be, we call it as when I accepted the judgeship, one of the objection which I had for accepting the judgeship was, maybe I am a good lawyer, but not a good judge. I may not be a good judge. Then one of the senior members, who is considered to be guru to me, what he said is, society needs scavengers. Scavengers who can clean up. And you be that. You don't need to be the main policy-making man or the epoch-making judgments. In that context, now through this forum, I request Mr. Ajay Jain to look into the number of cases which are pending in Supreme Court and High Court and take a clear decision, and there can be a negotiated settlement between the parties, and so that close the issue. That's one reason the repeated the legal hurdles created either by themselves or through the regulatory mechanism which has been created from time to time. That was one reason why the sector relating to, as I said, Bagasi and biomass and other sectors have not come up in Andhra Pradesh. And when the same neighboring state in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka were adding up, or on year-to-year basis, almost about 1,000 megawatts of wind energy our state was lagging behind. Because in the end analysis, why are we giving so much of importance to the solar energy? Because there is no fuel. You are powered by sun god, the ultimate energy source, and it is perennial, and there is no cost for it. In the initial costs are one which we have to take into consideration. We should appreciate that aspect, and in the ultimate analysis, yes, first important thing is, if there is no generation, there is no consumption. If there is no consumption, there cannot be any generation. So in the end, ultimately, you should not scare away the person who consumes. The situation which was prevailing at a early point of time is, irony of the situation is, the non-paying consumer was assured power, and the paying consumer was mulcated with the power cuts up to 90%. Net result, so far as the generator or the distributor, combined distributor at that point of time was, that they are strapped with total cash loss for the simple reason, paying consumer is not being supplied, non-paying consumer is being supplied, and he doesn't need to pay. That's the skewed up policy at that particular point of time between 83 to 93, which resulted in not a single megawatt being added up. I'm glad that the situation has changed. Now virtually, maybe it may be a little too much for me to say, but in the end, ultimately, the consumers are that kind of a buyer's market. But in the one aspect which I see so far as the consumption pattern which may grow in the state of Andhra Pradesh is with regard to the new capital city which is coming up, and also the smart cities which they are planning. In the end, ultimately, if we really have to preserve ourselves, the policy as is in, I think, in vogue in Canada, that is also one aspect which probably governments would think, that in the developed countries we see tall rising buildings. Why? Because one thing which cannot be created is the land. The land which you cannot create, you can't bring back the land. Once you convert into agricultural land, into non-agricultural land, it cannot be brought back. So what is the solution? Go vertical. What is the difficulty in going vertical when the technology is available? Where, I think an Empire State Building which was built about 100 years back, those days it was 130 floors or 140 floors. Today people are building 600 floors, 700 floors, 800 floors, and within no time. The only thing, the problem there would be the power which is required so that the lifts can go up in few seconds. And then when there is a requirement, you can come down quickly. The going up vertical would save the land, would also encourage you to expend the so-called extra, the energy that is being created and capacity that is being created. I only wish that the surplus state would not be a short-lived one. For the simple reason, as you go along, today we are very euphemistic and we are very enthusiastic saying that yes, we are going to be surplus, and then we invite people. And one of the important aspect is that there is technologies are changing so fast in manufacturing sector. Unlike earlier years where people were saying, once I set up an industry, ye duniya bhar chalte rahega. Not only for myself and for my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. But today, because of the technological changes which are taking place in industry, manufacturing industry, if they do not recover their cost within the first 3 years, I do not think that they will be able to survive in the market. Because the changes are happening so fast. The biggest example is in 1992, I bought the 285, the computer with 285 chip or something. And today people talk about the giga, mega, I really am, I'm a totally non-technical man. But the kind of speeds which they talk about and the change. In fact, Intel was one of those my favorite companies to think, because I was seeing the model. In the marketing jargon, there is something called cannibalism. Intel was making a chip, and within 6 months, the much higher capacity chip was being released. And I was wondering, what is happening to this company? Why are they could have waited for a little more time and released the one. Then I realized, because the copycats will be always there, they don't want their competitors to catch up. So they manufacture a product now, and they kill that product within 6 months by themselves, by bringing in a new higher capacity at the same price as that was under the earlier one. It's a marketing strategy, cannibalism. And today's market environment is that, and I'm sure Mr. Ajay Jain will be that kind of savvy marketing man when it comes to selling power in Andhra Pradesh. Because that's what is required. Otherwise, as I understand, if the national grid integration takes place, at least there is going to be another 8,000 to 30,000 megawatts from northern states to southern states. I don't know, I'm not very sure about the figure, but that's my understanding as of now, because I have not been keeping track of the figures for the last 3 years. The one other area where I can probably, in fact, I would have been very happy that this I shared in private with my learned brother, Justice Bhavani Prasad, and probably I can put forward to you also, is with regard to the regulatory making mechanism. So you all should understand one important change which has happened, legislative change for good or bad. If we remember, 1996, it was the first Orissa state which came out with the Orissa Regulatory Authorities Act. And that was a copy, and it was one on the international chartered accountancy firm in the name of consultancy, which has brought as a condition for lending loans to the country, power sector. In a way, it has had a mixed response. Then the next state to follow suit was Andhra Pradesh, which brought out AP Regulatory Commissions Act of 1998. Then quickly, within few months thereafter, there is a central legislation came, and thereafter again 2003 Act came. There are a lot of regulatory changes which have been brought in, but the significant aspect of it is 1991, it was something like cost plus generation capacity, 91, 92. One or two plants came with that. The one is the Enron, the whole plant. Other is in our state, GVK, first phase. Thereafter, the second thing, they quickly realized that cost plus probably will be the one which will fleece the state as well as the consumer. Then they came out with the policy of the competitive bidding. Then the second stage is competitive bidding, and third stage is the regulatory mechanism. But unfortunately, as we see at this point of time, is central government leaving this regulation making power with the regulators of the state is creating a chaos. What this is, after all, power is the one aspect which they probably centrally, and it's a central enactment. Implementation can be left to the regulators. But the policy making to such an extent where regulations have to be made, if they have been left to each individual state regulators, and that too regulators who have only short tenure of 5 years, who get elected, that selected, I am using the word elected as well as selected. The vision and the knowledge backup which they require without suspecting or without doubting their ability and capacity, itself is one aspect which needs to be relooked into. The various policy aspects which have to be made by the experts in the field, like Mr. Jain and others, the national level has been left to the state regulatory commissions in such a way that the initial foundation, just like what has happened in Andhra Pradesh, you will get bogged down with the number of cases which are to be handled by the individual disputes to be handled, rather than leaving very, very little time for the regulators to make the policy framework. In fact, if to my knowledge, probably only one state, if I'm not wrong, probably Mr. Harry Dole will be able to confirm. Dr. Mishra in Gujarat is the one who had that kind of overall vision. If I'm not wrong, Dr. Mishra, who happens to be an engineer as well as a very, very well knowledgeable person. But in the otherwise, over a period of time, last 15 years, still people are groping, in spite of the 2003 Act, 1998 Act, 1996 Act. Every state, every regulator is groping, and you will be surprised the kind of number of cases which are pending in the appellate tribunal, and all because of the initial framework was not proper, because there was no proper foundation. The foundation should come once there is an act, there is to be regulations. There are no regulations. Each case is decided, and that case is cited as the regulation for the next case. And that case is again cited as a regulation, rather than there should be a policy framework. Now, there is no use the Prime Minister and Chief Ministers going around the countries saying that we are here, please come here, when at home the rules have not been laid. The rules for the game have to be laid, and the players have to be intimated that these are the rules, and these are the rules by which you will be judged, and this is what you get. Either you win or I win. These are all the aspects probably at much more wider spectrum things. These are all the things which need to be discussed openly. And with the both, so far as the players are concerned, it is not that they are, they should be kept away from policy making. They should also, I also find that from the point of the players, they do not come forward. They do not make any suggestions, except one or two. They want everything to be thought over by the government or government officials, and then naturally if the government official thinks, he thinks from the point of government. He doesn't think from the point of other point. And so far as independent bodies are concerned, they have their own agenda to some extent, and they also have limited resources. In the end, ultimately it is the industry or the consumer whom he has to come forward with the suggestions, positive suggestions in such a way that as a players, because in the end ultimately we have to remember one important aspect. What is this governance or government or the thing? In the end, we are all part of society. And this government or the systems are all we have evolved for our own benefit to be part of the society as a players. When it comes to dealing with these aspects, we are players. Otherwise, we are all citizens. We have created a government, we have created a transmission corporation, we have created a generation corporation. And it's a trial and error method. It's not for the benefit of either this side of the people or that side of the people. In the end, it is for ourselves. So that's where the participation, which this is a typical Indian mentality, is what they say. Not wanting to adhere to the rule which is made. That's the Indian trait they would like to proclaim everywhere. Interesting book on that subject is something called The Games People Play. One Professor Raghunathan of IIM has written very interesting book for us to read. We don't want to adhere to the traffic rule. We want to jump red light. We want to block the left side of the road. And unless somebody takes a stick and stand, we just don't want to conform to the little more patience is not there with us. Same thing applies to power sector. At any rate, as I said, I have my limitations of expressing my opinions. Unfortunately, if the more I stand here, the more of me, original me, comes out, which I am afraid of at this point of time. Thank you very much for all of you, and I wish that meeting will be a wonderful one. And I really wish, I miss rather than being this side, I miss being that side of the podium. Because that's always been my side, posing questions and asking questions and troubling the people on the table. So now I am constricted with myself. Anyway, thank you very much. I'm sure that I'll have one more opportunity or many more opportunities to be there with all of you and share my thoughts. Thank you.